Elimination Chamber. Sorry. Let me give it to you like this. Reason I laughed. So many years, people speculated what it would be like. So many years, people would speculate how it would be done. But we all knew 100% Vince would never turn John heel. Never. There was not one time we knew he would ever turn him heel because he wanted to keep him as he was. And yes, John said, look, there are kids watching. And I don't want to turn heel anyway. But it was never about John. It was always about Vince. We know this. It has always been that way. Always. Always been that way. Vince made the final decision on this. So we always believed we never see it. But when he came back for this run, this final run, we all speculated, could it be finally possible for him to turn heel? I speculated there was a possibility, but I never really voiced it openly. There was no point in voicing it openly. Not that someone would just take me to task and say it would never happen. But I thought, why am I going to speak about something that, yes, I actually have spoken about Cena. He should have turned heel many, many years ago. But let's make it clear. To actually see him turn heel and to see them actually go all the way with him after nearly 4 years of not winning not one damn match. Not one. He has not won any match by himself in singles. I would have speculated that they're going to let him have one real win. That would lead him to try and get number 17. That is what I speculated, even though I'd rather see him turn heel. But we got what we wanted. Now, let's go for the Elimination Chamber before we get to the very end, which I will tell you this right now. The show was above average, easily. It was above average, but it was not great. Only thing that made it great was the ending of the show. That is what's going to make everyone care about the show heavily. This is going to be the most memorable show of Elimination Chamber in history. But if you're going to look at it objectively, it was an okay above average show, okay? There were some things here that were great, but there were things here that were not great. Doesn't mean it was bad. I just feel like you could have done this somewhere else. Now, the Women's Elimination Chamber match. At least they let it start the show. Now, what did we get? Alexa, we got Naomi, we got Liv, we have, excuse me, sore throat. We have I'm going to say this. When you look at Pop Rocks, when you look at Roxanne Perez, she did very well here as her first real pay-per-view, really showing. I know you're going to say, well, what about Royal Rumble? She did great there. Yes. But this was about a championship that is secondary. There was no way she was going to win the first, even though I thought it could be possible and maybe they should have done it, particularly instead of having Charlotte Flair. But as going through a pay-per-view, a PLE, in this setting where it would be for the secondary title, easily I could see her winning it. And easily when you look at her match, it was actually quite good. She did much better than most of the women in the match. Now, let's make it clear. And I'm not against Alexa, and I wasn't against Liv, and I was definitely not against Bianca. I wasn't. But if you watch the match for what it was, the one that looked the most choreographed between the two was Alexa and Liv. Okay? Let's make it clear. Alexa and Liv, their movesets are almost identical in many ways, except for the finishers. You could tell from the way they both worked, they both were trained practically the same way. They were also both around the same time. Of course, Liv was there a little bit later than Alexa, but Alexa went to the main roster first. Then later, Liv went to the main roster. But you can tell the difference. You can see the difference in a Liv Morgan and an Alexa Bliss. At least when it comes to their finishers. Because I will say this. I still love Alexa Bliss. She's not a bad wrestler. She was also a very good character. Yeah, her boobies have grown in, especially after having her kid. She's still pretty. But if you look between the two, they were telegraphing everything since they both had the same movesets. But who was better when it came to the finisher? It was not Sister Abigail. It was Oblivion. I'm sorry. The one I see that is more developed than the other is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is a more better developed wrestler than it is Alexa. And that's mostly due to the fact that Alexa went away. She had a daughter. And Alexa, in general, is working with an old, still loved, but old character that needs to be revamped heavily. When it comes to Liv, it isn't. That's the truth. Now, what do I think about what happened with Naomi? And I know people going to say, dude, you called it. You said there's a possibility they're going to turn Naomi heel. And look at what happened. You said it, and a lot of people also speculated that Naomi was the one who attacked a Jade Cargill. No. I thought that as I looked at it. And when they came to the commercials, I went to the alternatives to get a reviewing of what happened. And when you looked at Jade, when you looked at Naomi, and when you looked at Bianca, it's obvious. It's not Naomi. It's not. It's Bianca. It's just Bianca. It is not Naomi. It is Bianca Belair. She is the one, when you look at her performance, she overacted on every scream she did and every pounding onto the plexiglass. Bianca is the one who attacked Jade Cargill. It looks like it. It is it. It is not Naomi. Again, as I said, Naomi has done nothing but promote other people's storylines. That's what this is. This is Bianca and Jade's storyline, and Naomi was the catalyst for it. And I'll say this again, and I'm making it very clear. Naomi should have never came back to WWE. Now, if I'm wrong, and it is Naomi, okay. I'm glad that I was also right, even though I don't believe I am. I truly believe, at this point, it is Bianca. It is Bianca. I'm sure that Alex will probably say it's Bianca, and pretty much JG will probably say it with, well, I'm sure that Jesse's with him. They will both probably say, no, will he be with him? I don't know. I think he might do this by himself. I don't think Jesse will be with him, just in case I'm wrong. He might be. But I think they'll both say it's Bianca. I don't think they're going to think it's Naomi. It's going to be Bianca. And that's what it is. Do I agree? No. Not about Naomi. I mean, how can I say this? Not about agreeing. Look. When you look at the situation with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, they had nothing else for Jade, and they had nothing else for Bianca. So I don't agree that you had to stick them together in this situation. I wish that Bianca didn't have to work with Jade Cargill, that Jade Cargill went to NXT and got developed there. Because look at what the situation is, guys. I know you're not going to totally agree with me, but look at the run Jade Cargill had with Bianca Belair, and remember, she was with them on and off, and that was Naomi. They had no idea what to do with Jade Cargill. She was not developed enough. When she was TBS champion, she was never developed. She's never had the proper skill set, and she didn't have the proper talking. She needed more development, and she should have went to NXT. Just like where Jordynne Grace is right now, where she's rightfully supposed to be. She has done great in TNA and Impact Wrestling, but WWE is different. And when it came to Jade Cargill, she was floundering. That's why they gave her the tag championships until she got hurt. And understand, I'm not even against Jade. She just needed development. So when you look at this situation, they had no choice but to do it. And the person that suffers, if I am correct now, because if Naomi did do it, fine, I was right. But if I'm right now, and it's Bianca, then the person that's suffering the most right now is Naomi. She has been used on multiple different storylines and gotten her ass kicked multiple times. I'm like Why did you come back, girl? Moving on. You see that, do I believe this is going to be very interesting when it comes to Bianca dealing with whoever's going to win. Yes. It will be interesting to see who. I don't know who's going to win between. I don't want to try and predict with Io Sky and Rhea. I just don't. But I can say this. You're going to see a Jade Cargill interject herself. There's no way she will not. There is no way she will not interject herself. It's going to happen. That's the best thing I can say. Moving on. The next match. The worst match out of it. I'm sorry. It was. Tiffany Stratton. Trish Stratus. Oh, man. The Pixie, as well as the Donkey Donk of a Nia Jax. When you look at this match, do you still love a Trish Stratus? Yes. There's no way you don't love Trish, but you can tell 100% during the beginning of that match, Trish Stratus really is not an in-ring wrestler anymore. She's just there for show, because when she wrestled, you could see how gentle she was during this match. She literally barely kicked. She was out of position multiple times when she was trying to do any type of moves. When she decided to do her Stratusfaction with Nia Jax, she wasn't even close enough to make it look good. There was several moves that she looked bad. And look at what happened during the match. Of course, Tiffany looked good when it came to being with Candice LeRae and Nia Jax. She did decently well. But when you saw the very ending of that match, when you saw after Trish had tagged in Tiffany, Tiffany needed room. What did Tiffany do? She was literally kicking lightly with her left leg, trying to get Trish out of the way, particularly when Candice LeRae was trying to get her and had to be thrown over the rope, and she almost landed directly on Trish Stratus, who should have rolled out of the ring and onto the floor. She did not do it. She had to be kicked multiple times lightly, not to be bad or mean to her, but you had to kick her multiple times lightly just to get her out of the ring so she wouldn't get in the way of any of the moves that was being done by Tiffany. That's how much you can tell when it comes to Trish. She's not an in-ring wrestler anymore. She is off. Doesn't mean she can't wrestle, but I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me. They're going to say, that was a great match. You're stupid. You don't know. But I'm telling you right now, Trish Stratus just did not look like she was on her game. She was sloppy in most of that match. She was off when it came to the timing of the match. It just looked bad. For me personally, it looked bad. You may see differently, which is understandable. Everyone is different. But I'm telling you right now, Trish Stratus looked sloppy. She looked out of timing. And yes, at one point, you could see clearly that when it was near the end of the match, when it was time for to do the greatest moonsault ever by Tiffany Stratton, she literally had to kick Trish to try and get out of the ring. And at one point, when she finally decided to get out of the ring, Tiffany couldn't wait anymore, and she had to go to the other turnbuckle just to do the greatest moonsault ever, because she couldn't do it because Tiffany was there. She would have landed on top of her. That just showed you how sloppy that was. Next. The next match, which was a good match. It was. And this was KO versus Sammy. Their unsanctioned match. Let's make this very clear. I don't believe this is ever going to be over when it comes to Sammy and KO. Let's make it clear. We're going to hear this a couple of years from now. We're going to get this type of match all over again. Either they're going to work together again, or we're going to see them face each other again. And this match will be mentioned, but it won't say that their unsanctioned match was incredibly dangerous, but this is going to be worse. Now, it doesn't mean I'm taking anything away from the match. It was a damn good match. I was worried about Sammy when he had to go through the double-deckered tables. That got me a bit worried. But you guys tell me below, because it looked fake. That barbed wire chair. Tell me if I'm wrong. that wasn't barbed wire, because if you didn't notice, when KO landed his face here, right dead onto the damn table, he should have cut his cheek. Like my cheek here is a little reddish because I just smacked it. His face should have had at least 1 or 2 cuts on it, because he legitimately landed his face on that chair. He should have been cut. There was no blood in his face. So that means that might have been fake barbed wire, unless I'm wrong and it was real barbed wire. And I don't know how he didn't get his face cut, because he legitimately did touch it and his hand didn't touch it. It was his cheek. And he said, oh, my eye. It was his cheek right here that landed, as far as I could tell. Not a scratch on his face. So I believe that might have been rubber barbed wire chair. In other words, the chair had rubber barbed wire on it. Rubberized. But I will tell you, it was a good match. Seeing him powerbomb him once, twice, 3 times a lady, 4 times, you ain't no lady, 5 times, just spread your legs and do what I want. That is how many times he powerbombed him, he beat the crap out of him, and then we get the match ending. Done. But then we get Randy Orton coming out. He RKO's his ass, and he's ready, and he's about to use a not about to say table. I think it would have been interesting if he had used a table. That's Randy. But he was about to use a chair, but he goes, nope, punt time. Hadn't seen that in a while. He was about to punt him, but they pulled, well, not pulled. Let me give it to you like this. They were about to pull KO out of the ring before he got punted. But he rolls out of the ring, and then they grab him and escort him away. And then you get Mr. RKO pissed off and not take out 1 security guard. I believe he took out 5 of them, or at least 4 of them, and 1 of them twice. I can't remember. But that was good. It was good. Now, let's get to the end. Let's make it very clear. The men's Elimination Chamber easily outstripped the women. It did. Not taking anything from the women. They worked very good, particularly at the end when it was, who was the last one that was there in that match? It was Liv and it was Bianca. They did a very good job. Let's make it clear. Liv and Bianca, since they've been wrestling all the time, they looked well enough that you don't think it looks choreographed like it was with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss made it look choreographed with Liv Morgan. She did. Does mean I don't still think Alexa isn't a great character and can wrestle decently, but you got 2 women who basically have almost the exact same movesets other than their finishers. But when it came to Logan, he did well. And he got his ass handed to him by a CM Punk. I'm not surprised about that. He's supposed to get done, so it was done. Next, we get Seth Rollins. He gets taken out by Cena as well as Punk. Now, you're going to say, no. It was Punk who pinned him. It was both of them who worked together, and they worked together to get him out, which happened. Then Drew acted like Drew and acted stupid. And once again, he gets taken out by Damian Priest, which was so mad, he claymores his ass and beats the crap out of him. So, there you go. It was the way it was supposed to be. But we had the end of the show. We had CM Punk. We had John Cena. And at the end, we get a curb stomp to CM Punk by Seth Rollins so he could just get revenge for actually him being pinned, because he was obsessed with Punk. And John looks at him and goes, runs over, grabs him, he pins him, done. We're fine. We're great. And if it just ended there, the show was above average. I'm not going to tell you it was bad. It was not. It was easy above average. Not great, but good. But then we get Cody coming out with the title, facing John Cena, saying, look, it's me and you. We're going to have this moment. We're going to have this greatness. And then the moment no one's going to forget, that was the greatest moment, but then stupid, because you had, what was the guy's name again? Sage. I believe that's the guy's name. I don't watch rap anymore, hear rap anymore. I used to when I was young. I don't really care about rap or hip-hop. But I believe the guy's name is Sage. He comes out instead of The Rock. The Rock's music plays. Sage comes out with a damn title on his shoulder. Then you got the final boss coming out with him, and he walks up with him. And I'm like, why the fuck is he out there? And I know why. I'm just saying, why the fuck does he have to be out there? More than, why is he out there? Of course, it's because of this. Because he's popular and because he makes money. That is the reason why he's out there. And it was stupid to put him out there. I do not agree that he should have been out there. That segment shouldn't have been with him. I'm sorry. If it had been Roman Reigns with the final boss, that would be something. And I could understand that. But, of course, he wasn't going to be there. He's not going to be involved in that type of situation. But Sage being out there threw it off for me. I did not like him being there. Then, you got the final boss in the ring, puts his hand on his neck and says, Cody, it is time to decide. If you say yes, you'll have everything you want. You'll never have a problem. You want to live forever. You will be remembered forever. I will give you everything you want. And I want you as my champion. I want your heart. By goddamn, I want your soul. You give it to me, you'll have everything. But if you don't, you lose everything again. And he says, this is John Cena back, and don't do it. Look at these people. Look at he's doing this in the background, along with everyone who was cheering for Cody not to do it. And Cody said exactly what I thought he was going to say. My soul, it's gone already. And I thought he was just going to say, it's gone to these people. But he said it's gone to this ring and to these people, which is understandable, saying it like that. I say, no. And you say, Rock, go fuck yourself. And I'm going like, okay. Since this is a PLE and they mainly do Netflix stuff, I'm not surprised that they cursed on it. It was fine. I have no problem with it. And he is looking like, and this is a Rock, like, did you fucking say, go fuck yourself? And John walks over to Cody, shakes his hand, gives him a hug. And the moment that they focus on John, he's smiling and then he goes, and then you can see them focus on The Rock, and he goes, and he slices his throat. He does slice that damn throat. He kicks him in the balls and then starts beating the shit out of him. First with his own Rolex, a gold Rolex watch. I think he took it right off of John Cena's wrist. Then, no, not John Cena's wrist, off of Cody Rhodes' wrist. Then, he takes the title, whacks him a couple of times across the head, and he starts bleeding. And then Sage gets involved. And it was already bad enough with him there. Once Cody said no, and he's going like this. Why? It was stupid. He messed up that segment flat out for me, personally. Everything else was fine, but Sage, if that's his name, he looked stupid with that damn title, drinking and doing whatever bullshit he's doing. I'm sorry. He looked stupid. And yeah, he did smack him in the head, and that was Cody. But still, I don't know why he was in that segment, other than money and popularity. Because remember, we are still dealing with TKO. We are still dealing with a TKO WWE, not WWE. There is no WWE. World Wrestling Entertainment does not exist anymore. We have TKO. And sometimes after, let me give it to you like this. When I turn this camera off, sometimes when I think about TKO WWE, I go, ugh. I go, ugh. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes, like, I have to say this every time when I do this. Sometimes I just can't stand it sometimes. But this is what we got. We got a corporate company. We got a satellite company, part of a corporate entity that cares more about money and publicity and popularity than doing what some companies do, which is care about wrestling. Now, of course, wrestling need money. They want money. But they're not a corporation, and this is. Let's give it to you in this respect. We had almost 39,000 people. I think it was 38,000. Yeah, almost 38,000 500. My mistake. Not 39. 38,500 almost. Good amount of people. No problem. The show was generally good. Yes, the Nia Jax, Trish Stratus, and the Pixie and Tiffany, it didn't need to be on that show. I'm sorry. It just didn't look good. When you look at what happened with the first match, when you see Jade Cargill coming in and whooping that ass of a Naomi, I'm telling you right now, it's Bianca. If no one else is saying it, I truly believe it's Bianca. The way they had this set up, no. It is obvious when you saw Naomi looking back at Bianca and she's going, what's going on? And she didn't know nothing. Basically, Bianca's the one that caused that. She whooped that ass of a Jade Cargill because she didn't like knowing that she is no longer the EST. Because let's make it clear, Jade Cargill is the Storm. And that Storm was stronger than Bianca, or at least is on par with Bianca. And she couldn't stand it because she has an ego. That's true. This is what we got. Now, I'm going to tell you this before I finish. This show is what we've been waiting for a long time, guys. Let's make this clear. We waited so long for John Cena to turn heel. And on his last run that he said clearly he's doing, and it got 10 months with him, he has finally agreed, or because he's always said, I'll go whatever say, he said, you want a heel? I've been in Hollywood long enough to be able to play a really good heel, particularly. Let's make this, I'm going to make it clear. Who is the best heel between the two? Is it Cena or Rock? It's actually going to be Cena. Because we know that when it comes down to it, Rock hasn't really changed much. He's still exactly the same way he is. But Cena doing it, he will outshine The Rock. He's going to. And to be honest, I'm fine with that. I'm fine seeing Cena outshine The Rock as a fucking heel. Because you know what? We've been waiting so damn long for this. The question now is how fucking far, and I know I'm cursing a lot, I'm sorry, but how far is John Cena going to be willing to do the heel bit? I don't want him to go to Dr. Thuganomics. He don't need to. Let him be as he is, but be as nasty as he wants. Let him be the fucking, as you know, he works in DC. Let him be him. I want to see that nastiness come out. But it's just me. Peace.